This is the Connecticut Water Guy Hour. And now here's your host, Paul, your Connecticut Water Guy.
Hi, I'm Paul, your Connecticut Water Guy, and welcome back to the Connecticut Water Guy Show. This is our weekly show that we get to deep dive a little bit into the good water that surrounds us and keeps us all happy and alive. And we've also got
Ethan Bosford.
Ethan in the studio here today to keep things interesting. So Connecticut Advanced Water Systems is, in case you're just now tuning in, that's where I am. That's us, and we are located over by the Richmond Airport, and you can get us by phone at 877-60-WATER. That's 609-2837. If you wanted it spelled out. A lot of folks like to go to our website. We've got a really informative, educational, easy website at connecticotrichmond.com. And big difference between ours and a lot of the other sites that are out there is kind of like what I said before. It's informative. We don't use high-pressure sales tactics. If you have to rely on that, you're definitely missing out. But we actually, our whole purpose is to try to find out what the problem is in the water, educate educate our customer, and make decisions that are in the best interest of everything that's involved, including budget, of course.
Your website is very welcoming. It's
Yep.
very welcoming, very warm, and the little you have like a live chat person available as well, right?
We do, and that's
Yeah.
that. I'm glad you mentioned that one because that's one of those things. I'm kind of old school when it comes to personal attention.
Right.
And the little chat, you see chat on a lot of these websites, and it's really a chat bot. It's like a fake AI thing that, or it's just an automated response that doesn't really even get that too involved. But we integrated chat a couple years ago because I realized that people needed something on the site to kind of help them navigate, and it's actually one of those things. Our chat is manned by live people. So
that's a big thing. Yeah,
it's a big thing. So if you actually ask them a question, you're actually asking a real person the question, and
right.
And no bots on our site.
We love it.
But we don't have a lot of those trick suck you in questions and then give us your information and we'll reach out to you. We'd rather you be able to do some research and try to figure out a lot of things that people run into. You can answer those questions just by kind of perusing our site and just seeing what common symptoms look like and what solutions look like. So we do get quite a few of our customers that say, I've been on your site several times and now I'm ready to go ahead and get somebody to come on out and actually test and just confirm what I'm suspicious of.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually our 11th episode.
It is our 11th episode.
Yeah, we've come a long way here.
We have. You've gotten really good at talking on the radio too.
It's funny because you say that, and I haven't really had an opportunity to just go back and listen to myself because it's just one of those things. It's not high on my priority list.
Right.
But I didn't really have a good way to go back and listen to those prior episodes, but we do now. We are up and running on Spotify.
The podcast is up and running?
Podcast is up and running.
Exciting.
It's called Water Guy. Water Guy Podcast. I think radio is in it as well. But yes, so now you can hear. We're almost. I think we've got.
Oh my goodness.
6, maybe more of our very first episodes are already loaded up in there.
There it is. Yeah, looks like you have episodes 1 through 4. Episode 4 being labeled landfill juice, which is that's a bit of a throwback.
Yeah, it reminds you how long we've been doing this.
Oh
for.
yeah.
But so if anybody wants to hear the show in its all the way back to the the most awkward one was the first one when it was before we call that pre-Ethan. That was when it was me by myself talking for the full hour, which didn't really know what I was getting into on that. But it got us to where we are now, and you can kind of hear the beginnings, because I actually use these these podcasts now to help as like educational things on people that are new with the company. So yeah, go to the Water Guy, not the Water Guy, but just Water Guy, and you'll see this little caricature with me with my giving you the thumbs up.
That beautiful facial hair.
Yeah, and I have hair in that one, so it's you'll know you're at the right place. But it's pretty good, and just be ready. It's one of those, just turn it on and go do other things and kind of listen to it, because it is a 1 hour radio show.
Do things around the house, a nice like hour-long car drive.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the podcast, you can go ahead and rewind it if you go, what in the world did he just say?
Exactly. It's not like the radio.
Yep, the radio is poof, it's gone, and then I wonder, how did that really sound? So, yeah. So we got the podcast is up. We got plenty of YouTube videos that are informative. And I want to do something a little bit different today. It's always challenging. Water is not one of those things that has like an infinite number of things you can talk about. But
true.
Today, I call it You Deserve Better. So what this one is going to be about is there are places you go, things you do in your daily life that you may not realize it, but water plays a critical part of how good these experiences are. So, in no particular order here, I probably should have put them in alphabetical, at least something. But right off the bat, places that you deserve better is in a hotel. So, whenever you go to a hotel, it's a new experience, it's a new bed. Everybody's like kind of getting used to the whole thing, and hotels, for the most part, have decent water.
Yeah.
So, and when I say decent water, I don't mean the water coming out of the tap is great to make your morning coffee out of, because that is horrifically pool-ridden bad.
Yeah.
But the water that you use for, the water they use to wash their towels, for example, the water that you use to take showers, all the water that is used for washing and cleaning stuff, usually in the good hotels, it goes through a water softener, because they know the impact of hard water on water heaters and your skin, and leaving deposits on all the showers. So they've only got a certain amount of time to clean these rooms.
Right.
So they want to go ahead and try to make this as easy of a clean as possible, and they don't want to waste time, but they also don't want to waste money on cleaning products that you don't really need. So soft water is a great way to make sure that not only do you have well rinsed towels and everything looks clean and hygienic, but it's also a pleasure to shower in. So yeah, I hear people all the time like, yeah, I went traveling and went to this hotel, and the water felt I use the word silky. Some people use the word slippery, but I hate that word. So we try to change that to silky, because it's an exquisite feeling. It's a good thing. Slippery doesn't really sound quite as appealing, but so if you go to a hotel, that's one of the differences between the good ones and the ones that aren't peak. But you would be surprised. We're putting in some systems without saying anything about details in some very nice hotels out of the area that don't have anything in place now, and they've been hotels for quite some time. So
wow.
Yeah, it never ceases to amaze me how many facilities get put together, and they don't actually plan for water treatment.
Any sort of water treatment? Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them are so just large scale that I can't even put anything in there realistically. Like, there's this one that I'm actually going to be heading over to in a few days to a few weeks here. Ooh. But yeah, we're going on the 2.5 floor, which I didn't even know there was half floors.
2.5.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. But that water treats like a whole bunch of the kitchen and some of the floors, but they don't have anything in place now. And they realized after the hotel was all done that we definitely need something, because up there the water can be 9 grains hard in most of the area, which is pretty doggone hard.
Yeah.
And it's got ridiculous chlorine levels. So yeah, if you go to DC, just be aware that the water's hard and there's a lot of chlorine in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going up in there to squeeze some custom systems in on floor 2.5. But yeah, pretty cool. There was another hotel up there that we couldn't help, mainly because when water goes, we talked about water towers in a previous episode, and how the water tower gives the water the pressure because it's basically gravity is pulling the water back down, and it can give you the pressure that you need in the house. These hotels, the water comes in through the basement and then it has to go back up. So most of these hotels are way taller than the water tower.
Yeah.
So they have to compensate for pumping that water way back up in the air, and still being able to keep it under pressure. So some of these systems are just ridiculous. And I know I'm going way off topic with this one, but it's the coolest thing ever. The pipes are probably about as big around as my head.
Wow.
They're just massive. The kind of things you look at and they're all bolted together and you're like, oh my gosh, where are we even going to start trying to tear this apart and put in something after the fact?
It's like, yeah, when you think about it, I mean, not only do they have to push up all that water, there are so many individual units that water has to go to in the first place.
Yes.
That just makes it much more intricate.
Yeah, and there's formulas. I couldn't remember basically they take it in the basement and they pressurize it. They basically run it into pumps.
Right.
And they jack that water up to about 125 PSI.
Oh my gosh.
And they lose, I think it's 6 pounds for every floor that it goes up. So 10 floors, you're down to 60 PSI just from the loss from pumping it up that high. So they have pumps, of course, like scattered all the way up too to help maintain all these things. But yeah, it's just mind blowing to me that you would have an entire hotel built like that and you wouldn't have anything in place to be able to put in water treatment. But
right.
Yeah, when you go in after the fact and the building is already that big, and that's why I was going to talk about that one, because when I went to find this particular site, I wanted to find the parking garage, right?
Right.
I'm from Chicago. Most of the stuff is right, underneath every building has its own parking garage. Mm-hmm. Well, the bell guy was like, hey, go down to 2 streets down. I'm thinking 2 streets down, that's like a block. That's 2 blocks. Mm-hmm. And he said, yeah, go make a right into the little thing that says whatever special word it said. And I went down there and I drive in there, and it's this massive, you could drive a semi down this little ramp. And then you go down, and it's crazy because you're in this big, massive truck, and you're a couple blocks away from your building, and you drive underground for a couple of blocks to get all the way back over to the building that you're trying to get to. I had no idea that their tunnel systems spanned different blocks.
Yeah, especially up there. I mean, everything's so intricate.
Yeah. And I always heard it was the swamp. I mean, you wouldn't think there'd be so many tunnels in the swamp, but that's probably why Chicago is called the Windy City when it's really not because of the weather. It's because of all of the politicians up there. But anyway, so hotels. You deserve better. Check it out. Find out if the water is good at a hotel, because if you're going to spend the kind of money that most of these nice hotels charge, at least get a wonderful shower out of it and experience the benefits of good water.
You deserve to have a nice hotel experience.
Exactly.
In general.
Yep, exactly. So the hotel was the first one that came to mind here. And then we kind of related to hotels. Airbnbs. Much different scale.
Yeah, absolutely.
But a lot of these Airbnbs aren't cheap. Some of these are lakefront, beach, waterfront resort type things.
Like a nice cabin in the woods.
Cabin in the woods. That. Yeah. And then you read through and you look at some reviews, and it's like awesome views, the whole place is wonderful, but the water smelled like rotten eggs. Or, the water had a color to it, or it stained my clothes when we washed them. Things like that.
Right.
And it's the same thing as the hotel. You just don't know what could be in the water. But, if you're in this day and age, I think we just need to demand better water.
Right.
We just do. We have the technology and the capabilities to be able to do it. And there's nothing really holding these places back unless you're one of those massive hotels that I just physically can't put enough equipment in the space that they have.
Right.
But an Airbnb, there's no reason why somebody in an Airbnb can't have some sort of good water treatment, at least here in the U.S.
Right. Especially if it's if the Airbnb is an investment for them. 'Cause
Absolutely.
a lot of these places are like apartments or condos or even houses. So
Yeah, there's one that I was down at. They bought it as an investment property down in Lake Gaston,
Right.
actually. And it was. I'm laughing because I think that it was like a $1.2 million
oh my goodness.
for this thing, and all they use it for is an Airbnb. The water coming in is horrendous,
Oh yeah.
and they didn't want to spend anything. They're kind of blinded by, we can Airbnb it for X amount of dollars, and we're not going to sink any more money into it because we've already paid way more than we should have. But yeah, you see a lot of that same mindset. But yep, an Airbnb is something to find out if they have decent water, if they have decent drinking water. Otherwise, you go there and you still got to go out and find a place where you can buy bottled water.
Right.
But if it's already got, a professional drinking water system built into it, then you can just really relax and use the Airbnb for what it was intended for.
Right. That's one less thing you have to worry about.
Exactly. Let's see. We have coffee shops.
Coffee shops.
Definitely, that is something that you need to demand the best possible water. And there's some really good quality water places that are out there. And then there's some that charge a premium dollar for stuff that literally only has some carbon filtration behind it. Yeah, that's the best water. The best coffee is made with the best water. So that's the top three, and they're all kind of in the vacation or treat yourself category there.
Yeah.
But we're actually coming up, believe it or not, to the first break.
Time flies.
Time flies. We're going to be right back. Just don't go anywhere. Bear through the commercials and be more right back with more of the Water Guy Show. Welcome back. In case you just tuned in, this is the Water Guy Show, and I'm Paul, your Connecticut Water Guy.
You got Ethan.
Ethan here in the studio. So today we are talking about You Deserve Better, and we're talking about water. And we talked about hotels, Airbnbs, and coffee shops being a couple just easy things that you really just at least ask or maybe even demand better water at these places. It depends on what they're, are they charging a premium? Then maybe you deserve a premium experience. And there's definitely some differences out there between coffee shops that are running filtered water and coffee shops that are running purified water. And a lot of them are, I hate to say it, but misinformed as to what exactly they have. Because I used to, of course, nerd out and ask them, hey, how do you treat your water? And this one in particular kept saying, oh, yeah, we have purified water. Well, I got the behind-the-scenes tour, and it was not purified water.
Oh.
It was definitely not. And all the employees think it is because that's what they're told.
Right.
But it's just filtered. It's like saying that your fridge filter is going to purify your water, which it won't. That's not the same thing. It's many, many, many times better when it gets purified. But yeah, so that's don't just take their word for it. I will throw some free plugs in this episode here.
Free plugs.
Free plugs, and this is completely unsolicited stuff, so
All right.
it's genuine. There's a down on if you're familiar with the Carytown area, there's Capital One Pete's Coffee. It's right on Cary Street.
Really?
Yep, they've got our Connecticut purifier that runs all of the beverage machines.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if you
All
really
right.
want the best coffee, I will tell you, you go in there. If you don't believe me, try one. It's kind of an odd little place. It's a bank that you, like a bank and a Starbucks all kind of like mashed together, but it's not a Starbucks.
Yeah.
It's Pete's Coffee.
I've been into one of those before. They're actually nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a good little break from reality. But try it if you just want to see the difference between that and the other big name. But that's coffee shops for you. We're trying to get here locally and at least improve some of the Richmond water with some of them. And as we come up with more, I will more that I am allowed to actually talk about, because we just wrapped one up at a military facility.
Oh, wow.
That I can't tell anything other than that, but let's just say they were very excited because they have a cafe, and once I got done explaining that their filters, which are just like that one coffee shop runs, was not really going to give them the best quality in their espresso machines and everything else, they were like, well, tell us more. So we've got a full system out there that they're turning that one on actually this week. So that's pretty exciting. And now they're going to be making their smoothies and shakes out of it too.
Oh, that's nice.
They're like, well, if it's the best water, we need to use it for everything that we drink. And I was like, exactly. That's what I've been beating my head against the wall for 8 years, trying to
That's what I'm trying to say.
shout from the mountain. Yes. So they get it. There's some other places out there that they don't come top of mind, but I'm going to skip the next one because this one's like the one that just blows my mind. But so I will bait you with knowing that a good one is coming. Dog grooming.
That is a very good point.
Dog grooming. That's not the big heavy hitter one here, but
Yeah.
So when you take your dog, and I can say this because years ago, believe it or not, I actually was a manager at a pet shop that had grooming. So I've seen all the behind the scenes on all that, and I've seen the dogs come in and get all frizzed up and cleaned up. And dogs, like people, can have some skin disorders, like dry skin. A lot of them have thin hair, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the groom shop, when they do a whole bunch of towels. Oh my gosh, they go through towels like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But the water that they use really should be the best. I mean, you're taking your pet in there. You want the pet to be pampered, just like when you go to the spa.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's your pet. It's a family member.
it's a family member, exactly. You don't give them the pooey water. So if they get the better water, then they have less skin irritation. They get better rinsing. They can still get spritzed up with their perfumes and all the things that make them smell good, but
Of course.
they'll be clean, which is kind of that's a big part of why you bring the dog there in the beginning. So, yep, better quality skin, better quality hair on your pet. So dog grooming, at least ask the question when you drop your dog off next time, what kind of water treatment system do you have?
Yeah.
And see what they say. They'll probably give you that, we have wonderful water here. Never thought about that. But yeah, that different water, better water makes a better experience.
Right.
So that's the dog grooming one.
Awesome.
The next, well, heck, I'll just go ahead and throw it out there. The hair salon.
Yes.
This is the one to me that just blew my mind because I'm the man of many hairstyles. For about a year and a half, I was completely cue ball shaved, just completely bald, just for the sake of being trying something completely different.
Yeah.
So I'm not really into my hair. It's not my identity.
Right.
I'm more like the chameleon. I like to change my identity as I need to. But women, all the women that are listening, I feel your pain because I'm married, and my wife tells me how much it costs to get your hair done.
Oh, it's outrageous sometimes.
I thought she was just trying to extort money to out of me. And I'm thinking nobody would actually pay those kind of rates. Now, so this kind of started this quest. I was like, well, how much? Maybe she's just going to the wrong place. So I started asking. It probably made me out to be kind of a weird dude, but I started asking all the women that I know inside, the ones I know close enough to be able to ask the question, how much does it cost to get your hair done? And that's a weird question to ask because I don't know if they're going to be, angry. I don't know how personal that is.
Well, it's research and development.
Yeah, I tell them, I said, look, it's research on the radio show.
Exactly.
And nothing personal will come out of that. So I have seen, and what I have been able to figure out is it somewhat depends on how long your hair is.
Right.
Therefore, if you're bald, then it doesn't cost very much. However, if you've got a lot of hair, it's just ridiculous. So
Yep.
There's one person that paid $800 to have her hair done. She had long hair.
Ugh.
And then I've got everybody else is somewhere in the $200 to $400 range.
That sounds about right.
That's what Ethan, for the record, probably spends $200 on his hair. He looks like a GQ model.
I wish.
But no, it ladies, you've spent a lot of money on your hair, and it doesn't end there.
Oh yeah.
You have to get this done constantly. So if you're back to, the whole point of this is if you're spending hundreds of dollars on your hair, you want your hair to be, at some point they wash it. Right. That's the one thing I've heard pretty consistently.
Yeah.
When they wash your hair, they're doing it in tap water, regular, usually city water, which is loaded with chlorine. It's loaded with ammonia in most cases around here.
All those chemicals that.
Yeah, the chemicals, the hardness.
Yeah.
Some of the places out there, there's some other funky stuff in the water, but the simple things like hardness and chlorine, there is no excuse for not taking that stuff out for a hair salon.
Of course.
The amount of money that they charge and get for hair just blows my mind. So they should be giving you a premium experience. Your scalp should feel wonderful. It shouldn't feel any, dried out from calcium plugging up the oil glands. Your hair shouldn't be, flat. There should be body. It should be in great shape.
Volume.
Yep, that's the word. Volume.
Yeah.
See, I knew Ethan had the volume button and the volume in his mouth. He was ready to spit that one out.
Oh yeah.
So the hair salon, that was my aha moment that everybody needs to ask their hair salon, hey, this isn't, Henrico County or City of Richmond water, basically pool water. You're not going to wash my hair in pool water, are you?
No.
So, but that's what they're doing. So the hair salon, that's a biggie.
That is a biggie. That and the dog grooming is something that, I wouldn't have thought about.
Well, that's good because we spent a lot of time coming up with this list of things that people wouldn't normally realize are related to water.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, the hair salon thing, especially because you're paying so much money. Good grief. All right, then car wash.
Yes.
So,
Oh, don't get me started on car paint. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, this one's a loaded animal because there's the car washes that you go to. They all need to have some sort of at least water softeners, but a lot of them have some other problems in the water that they need to address also, like silica, and obviously hardness is a pretty easy one. But if you take your car to a car wash, the little cheesy ones that there's a couple of cinder block dividing walls, and basically it's just city water with a pressure washer that you pay and you spray your own car down. That's you're not going to get good water out of that.
One of the DIY stall ones.
DIYs, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you go through one of the decent ones, and not just decent because it looks prettier, but the decent ones that have a building with them. Usually that building has a lot of things to do with, treating the water. Like one of the first things that they do for most of the car wash is they'll at least make sure that the water is soft. because they know that their detergents, they have to use way more of them when you have hard water, and they just don't work as well, and they don't rinse off as well with hard water. So the secret to every car wash is to make sure you don't have hard water. And then the final step in the car wash is that spot-free rinse. So that's where the magic happens, because how you end up with spots is you end up with some solid that was dissolved into the water, that basically just got left behind. The water evaporated and it left a spot on your car. So these good car washes actually have gigantic reverse osmosis machines and a big holding tank.
Okay.
And you can't have that in those little teeny, the DIY stalls. But yeah, when you're into the nice ones, they'll have that spot-free rinse, because that stuff is coming out of a tank where you got these big RO units that are making purified water, so it doesn't have anything in it that's going to leave spots. So they basically just blast your car at the tail end with perfectly pure water and then air dry you, and that's how those do such a good job.
That's very nice.
Yeah, very, very nice. So those are the car washes that you go to. I see a lot of these guys driving around with these mobile detail businesses, where they've got, a trailer and they've got a tank of water.
My father actually used to own one of those.
Oh.
Yeah, he had a mobile detailing business.
So this is great. I didn't know this. Where did he get his water from?
He usually, when he would go to certain locations, he would just use their water.
Just use their water.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any...
He didn't have like a tank or anything.
You just bring hoses and
bring
do it
hoses,
okay.
hook them up to the client's water.
So basically, he was at the mercy of the client's water.
Exactly.
So if they had hard, nasty water, your car got washed in hard, nasty water. He provided all the elbow grease, but that's not enough to give you the kind of results that you deserve, because you deserve better. So the detail guys, the ones that are hooking up to your own water, that's shame on you. If you listen to the whole show and we haven't been able to explain or tell you how important it is to get your water better. But the guys that are bringing the water, those are the ones I was really focusing in on here, because they are 100% in control of the type of water that they put in those tanks.
Yeah.
Yep. And some of these guys, they live in outside town, and because it's easier to keep a business and a trailer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they usually use their well water to fill these tanks up, thinking water is water, right? It's kind of like your dad would fill up or hook up to whatever they got and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these folks that are tapped into a well around here we've got a lot of silica, so you can actually make your car worse if you have a mobile detail guy that had actually filled his tank up with water that was hard or contained levels of silica that can leave permanent spots. So I throw that out there, that your mobile detail guy, if he's one of those, ask him what's in his water.
Yeah.
And if he kind of looks at you funny, tell him to go to ConnecticutRichmond.com and check us out. We have the ability to fill tanks.
Really?
Yeah, and we're toying around with also having the option of basically giving people reverse osmosis, purified water. So if you're going to pressure wash somebody's car with purified, it's just the ultimate. The whole thing is a spot-free rinse. Your cleaners just do exactly what they were supposed to do. But there's a couple of detail places around here. Actually, there's one off of Broad Street, kind of on the west side. Astonishing Detail, kind of an easy name to remember.
Yeah, and I've that name is familiar.
Yeah, they do some amazing work. He's got a long history.
There are a lot of good mobile auto detailers in the Richmond area in general.
Yeah, and he's actually got a facility.
So he has he's
got detail business.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, And I throw that out there because he's got connect. We actually I know this because we put in. He realized he needed better water than what was coming out of the tap
Smart man.
for the kind of results that his clients were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that we did is we went in there and we put a softener in, so that he doesn't have to worry about the chlorine drying things out or the hardness in the water leaving spots on these cars if you can't get them completely dried off immediately. But we're actually in the process of adding in a reverse osmosis station so that he can do the spot-free rinse at the tail end, and then everybody goes out with just flawless results. So, yep, astonishing detail.
Awesome.
Let him know that Paul, the water guy, told you to go over there.
Oh yeah.
They do crazy good work.
Ooh.
So, yeah, we're plugging right through this,
Yeah,
but it looks like we're coming up to yet another commercial break.
We are jamming through this.
We're jamming, and hopefully this is some good stuff that folks are getting a little good nugget here and there from. But just make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the Water Guy Show, and remember to write down ConnecticutRichmond.com is the website. Water Guy is the podcast. 877-60-WATER. It reaches us by phone. Welcome back. In case you just tuned in, this is the Water Guy Show, and I'm Paul, your Connecticut Water Guy.
We have Ethan helping him out tonight.
Appreciate all the help. We are covering today's episode is You Deserve Better. So we were trying to come up with these areas of our lives that you don't really realize how much impact water has until we go spelling them out. But we talked about basically hotels, coffee shops, hair salon, dog grooming, car washes, and detail shops, places like that.
Yeah.
There's some other things that we come up with. Obvious laundromat. You know, if you're going to take your clothes to a laundromat, then you probably want better water.
Of course.
And really that makes sense if you have a laundromat to get better water, because there's less wear and tear on the machines. There's less buildup. When you wash people's clothes in better water, then typically you have less lint. So
yeah, true.
That less lint is less of a fire hazard for them, and less things overheating. So it can save them money, but obviously if you go to a laundromat that has good water, you're going to get clean clothes.
You're going to keep going back to that laundromat too.
Absolutely. And then at the gym. So
Yes.
I've been forcing myself to get into the gym, so I've seen quite a few gyms lately, and most of them don't have good water.
It's not great.
No, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's let's just say you don't go to the gym to take a shower. You go to the gym to work out.
The showers are not a priority at the gym.
No, but they could be.
Absolutely.
And let's see. So I've got 2 gym memberships.
2.
Yeah. I've
Goodness.
got 2. One of them is a gym that's just kind of like an all-around Gold's Gym type thing.
Right.
And then the other one is a climbing gym.
Okay, you know what? That makes sense.
Now, the climbing gym costs 7 times more a month.
Oh, yeah, because it's specialty, right?
Right. So that's the one that, if I had to really have some high expectations, I would be like, look, I really need a better shower here if I'm going to be spending that kind of money.
Of course.
So I need to actually go to that gym more often. But the gym showers are one of those places that, if you're going to take a shower, why not have a good one?
Right.
You don't want to waste water. You don't want to waste your time, and you don't want to go there and come out, with your skin drier than when you first got there. So gym, it would be another great place to go ahead and start digging in and finding out what their standards for water are. This probably won't relate to a lot of folks listening here, but truck stop showers.
Yes.
So,
oh, yeah.
It's crazy. So we do up in Carmel Church, Rutherglen area, there's pilot Flying J's.
That big exit with all those
Oh,
truck
yeah.
stops at. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. And
Yep.
their water is just stupid bad.
Uh,
It's like 27 grains hard. I mean, the TDS, I won't drink anything out of there because their TDS is like 1,200.
right.
EPA says you really shouldn't drink something over 500. So, yeah, they're like, would you like some coffee? I'm like, no,
No.
thank you. I think I'll just eat a rock. So truck stop showers, they actually blaze through. And I bring that up because, I didn't realize how many showers go on at truck stops.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking, we've got these massive things called hydrous systems.
Mm-hmm.
And these are softeners that have a 30-inch diameter. And there's 3 of them in this one facility.
Okay.
We're talking massive, 2.5 feet across, and there's 3 of them side by side. So these things, each of them handles about 75 gallons a minute. So when they're fired up, they're running over 200 gallons a minute.
Oh, yeah.
And they're using it. That's how many showers and how much water one of those truck stops uses.
Yeah.
It blew my mind once I realized how much water they use. So we do all the salt service up there, and they probably burn through that particular one there. Goes through a pallet of salt probably every 3 weeks on those 3 units.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And the systems that the alternative systems, like the single tank electric ones, we won't name brand names, but they usually use 2 to 3 times more salt. So they'd be burning through a pallet every week up there. So truck stop showers, and then of course truck wash goes along with that.
Yeah.
The next thing, carpet and rug cleaning. Never would have thought about that one.
Yep.
Because most of the time you end up doing your, if you rent the carpet cleaning machine from the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
and just try to do some spot cleaning on your own, you're using your own water. Now the trucks that come on in and literally like their stuff is mounted on the truck, I don't know where they're getting their water. I'm assuming that they have good water, but when everybody's looking for ways of cutting costs, you just never know exactly what.
Seen some shady stuff happen with.
Shady stuff. But you get much better removal. These carpet cleaning machines, they do a great job of putting detergents and liquids down onto the carpet.
Mm.
They usually do a terrible job of extracting it.
Mm.
So if you have good water, your extraction is a lot better. And you don't have that soapy residue that actually, in a lot of cases, if you have that stuff, most people would say that my carpet gets dirtier after I clean it. And it's not because they've actually removed any protective coating. It's because they've actually left a little bit of soapy residue because they had bad water. So, and rug cleaning is kind of the same thing. That if it needs to be clean, it needs to be good water. And then we got house, like pressure washing organizations, kind of like the car detailer with the tow behind trailer.
Right.
But if you're going to clean your house, you don't want spots all over your windows. You want your house clean.
Yeah.
You don't want any evidence that something was done. And there's a scary one that we're going to save for last. If you have a cleaning service, that's one that you can't really. I bring it up not because you're going outside your house. You deserve better, but you really need better water in your home, because the cleaning people, they use whatever water you have, kind of like the detail guy that shows up with hoses instead of a tank.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're cleaning your house, they're probably charging you based on how much time and materials that they're using to some degree. And if they show up and your house is a nightmare every time because you've got so much calcium buildup in your toilets, they're going to spend extra time having to clean these things and extra chemicals that, of course, they're going to if they're smart, they're going to charge you for. So if you have a cleaning service, ask your cleaning people, hey, how dirty is this compared to somebody else's? And you can get some interesting answers there, but we have a lot of customers that actually have cleaning services, and they tell their clients all the time, you need to call the guys at Connecticut Advanced Water, because you are wasting so much time, so much of the cleaning person's time. And then the end of the game here is, everybody wants happy customers.
Right.
And if your customers realize that you're actually trying to do them a service by helping to keep their house cleaner between visits, and maybe prolonging how long it has to be before somebody has to come in and give you that special touch-up, then it's a good thing if you can save a little bit of money by improving your water all the time.
Absolutely.
So that was the maid one. Schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Stacy, who was on a previous episode here, Stacy the Chameleon, was telling me in her infinite search of data that in 2018 up in New York, New Jersey area, they had it sounded like all the schools had lead present in ridiculous levels.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, this was 5 years ago. So they ended up tearing up basically replumbing everything. But it's one of those things. I would hope that all schools are looking at testing. I just did a project specifically for an ice machine.
I was about to say, you recently went to a school, right?
Yeah, and I put that one in. Actually, I installed that one myself on voting day, which was
Oh, wow.
it also happened to be a polling place, so I was going in and out through, of course, the only door, which was that one. So I had to have everybody, give me their insight on who I should vote for, like over and over and over. But anyway, when I was done, they have incredible ice at that particular middle school.
Very good.
So that's cool that you got folks that are looking into, if it doesn't look right, if you got blue-green stains in your ice machine, get it checked out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that turned into, you got a little bit of excessive amounts of copper. Let's go ahead and just fix that. It's not anything that's above any maxes, but, when you're dealing with you're the custodian of people's children.
Yeah.
You want to do everything you can to keep them safe. So kudos to those folks. But yeah, schools, just ask their school where are they in terms of, making sure that the drinking water is good. So there's two heavy hitting ones. Venues. They kind of like Airbnb type things, but venues, like a wedding venue.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I've been married, so I didn't realize how ridiculously costly it can be to have a venue, to just basically a place to have your gathering and your party.
Mm-hmm.
And
it is very ridiculous.
The barn thing is like this latest craze. I'm sure it's been around for years now.
Neo-rustic weddings.
Yes.
Is what I like to call it.
Well, the scary thing is a lot of these barns are out in the country. They don't have city water out there. Some of them have horrifically bad water. There's one that we tried to help, but you can't help somebody that won't accept help.
Right, of course.
And their water was brown, and it smelled.
Oh, no.
And they were okay with that. And I guess that's not a one-off, because there's plenty of these barn ones.
Right.
And if you read reviews on them, they're like, oh, the place is gorgeous. It's, a mind-blowing experience, but the water was brown, but the water smelled like rotten eggs.
Right.
And if you're going to spend $50,000 for a day at somebody's facility, demand that they have clear, perfect water. Just demand that. I mean, that's not out of the ordinary to want that. I mean, good grief.
Really?
I couldn't believe that they were okay with that. And we're not talking a whole bunch of money. I mean, good grief, they would have had it paid off in probably 5 minutes of the next rental.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, they didn't. They were more worried about the P&L, and yeah, apparently the money coming in wasn't enough to make them really want to improve the water to the point where it was just that mind-blowing experience. But that's what sets the mind-blowing apart from the ordinary.
Absolutely.
So I'm throwing that out there. If you're one of these venues that doesn't have perfect water, you definitely need to call me and we can figure something out. And the last one.
Yeah, let's hear what that last one is.
Yeah, this is one I debated whether I was even going to bring it up because it's scary. Farm fresh. When you get farm fresh stuff, yeah, you're giving me that look.
Like your meats and everything. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about meat, eggs, produce. Now, meats are tougher because they usually have to go through like USDA type inspections, things like that. But there are things. I'm trying to be careful with the words on this thing. There are contaminants like PFAS, the forever one that we talked about back in a couple episodes ago. And this stuff can exist in in 45% of all tap water in the U.S.
That is a very big
That's
percentage.
Stunning, scary number.
Yeah.
But some of it is just ridiculously high amounts. Now, there was this one farm, very, very small farm, that was using the water from the well to water the chickens, the cows, all the produce, and that water was loaded with PFAS. And they didn't realize it. Nobody knew until the testing happened.
Of course.
And we put a system in place. But that actually was, we put the system in, and some of the folks that were kind of making the decisions on this were like, yeah, we're going to put this in, and we're going to treat the house and make sure that this homeowner is safe. And I said, well, I think we need to increase the scope of this project because do you see all these cows and chickens? And they kind of looked around, and I asked the person that was in charge, I said, what do they do with the cows and the chickens? And they said, oh, well, we sell the eggs and the produce. And I looked at the folks that were making decisions, and I said, do you see where I'm going with this? And they said, oh, my gosh.
Yep.
They said, and they said, let's treat everything.
Yeah.
So again, you don't know what you don't know, but when you're presented with something that you can fix, it's great when I see people that do the right thing. And that's exactly what they ended up doing. But that was just one. That was one that I was able to fix. So that's kind of the drawback of some of these more, and I don't want to put down the farmer's market.
Right. Because
nobody's testing for PFAS right now. If they tested, who knows what the results would be. But anyway, yeah, be careful where you get your food from.
Yeah.
Just kind of know where it's coming from, know that it's reputable. And, it'd be nice if you could say, hey, what kind of water do you use? But, yeah, so those are some wow, that's actually quite a lot of different places that you could expect or demand to have better water because it'll impact your experience. And your house, a few of these kept coming back to the house. So if you don't have anything in your house yet, please go ahead and give us a chance to kind of show you what might be in the water, discuss some options. I just had a customer just yesterday that moved into a house that had a water treatment system in it, and it was going to cost so much to fix the system that they have that I said, hey, I can rent you a system that'll do everything that this one does when it's perfect, and it'll only be less than $150 a month, for example. And that was drinking water, filtration, dechlorination, silica treatment, soft water, the whole thing. And she was like, well, that's a no-brainer because we include maintenance and everything with that. It's got a forever warranty. And I could tell at first she was kind of like, because she was retired.
Right.
And she was like, well, I don't know, 135, 150 sounds like, a significant amount. And I was like, how much do you pay for internet? And then she kind of gave me that, I get it now.
Yeah.
Internet costs comparable to what water treatment costs for rental, but you get so much more out of water treatment. But I hope you enjoyed this episode today. Check us out, ConnecticutRichmond.com. 877-60-WATER is our phone number. Check us out on the podcast, Water Guy Podcast, I believe is what it's called. And it's on Spotify, which is free. You just got to listen to it. And
The Water Guy Podcast / radio show.
/ radio show. I knew it had radio in there somewhere. And yeah, that's a pretty cool. YouTube is a great way to entertain yourself on on weekends with our entertaining videos. But we look forward to catching up with you next Saturday morning for another edition of the Water Guy Show. Thank you very much, and we look forward to fixing your water.
You've been listening to the Connecticut Water Guy Hour. Join us next week for another edition with Paul, your Connecticut Water Guy. Opinions expressed on the program may not necessarily reflect the views of station management and ownership. Portions